because everybody keeps saying that he's been holding it up. And I was listening to some of the stuff over the last few days, like as if to say we're trying to wriggle out the fight. And that's never been the case. And I think Simon's now acknowledged that, or does acknowledge that, and that's where we are. And we do a lot of shows with TalkSport as broadcasts. They broadcast a lot of our events, and they're obviously be broadcasting this event. But it's not easy to make these fights. People think you're just going to show up and it's done. And with the advent of social media, what was yesterday changes today. And in the meantime, what we have managed to get done this week, and mostly through Tyson, both the boxers, Tyson and Alexander, is that they've agreed the split. So once the splits are agreed, that's it. And and I hear people keep moaning about, why is Usyk getting less money? Because that's the split. I'm not in the Usyk business. I'm in the Tyson Fury business. I'm work with Tyson, work for Tyson, and what we have to do is do the best deal for our man. And everybody agrees this is a fair deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't be entering into it. And I think Tyson deserves a lot of credit for this fight, as does Alexander Usyk, because at the end of the day, these guys have stepped up. They're both undefeated. They're both. A lot of people got a view who win, and both of them have got do have a great story moving forward. But Tyson, when I look at him, what he's done as a fighter, he beat the best heavyweight of his generation in Klitschko all those years ago. Went to Germany, complete underdog, and beat him. And I said before, he's had 3 fights now with Wilder in the States, but again, went abroad and done what he had to do there. And Wilder at that time was undefeated for 6 years. They never got to one.
So, those are the words of Frank Warren as he responds to Simon Jordan. And, of course, Simon Jordan had his own counterpunch about Tyson Fury. And I think it's strange because when you're dealing with Frank, and Frank is definitely doing damage control for, Tyson, this is very clever from Frank Warren. And let me explain why. For one, Frank is doing this since the fight is done, or since the fight is close to being made or close to being signed, like maybe 50 yards left to go on the track. He's now saving face and saying look, we tried to tell you we wanted to make the fight. And then he put the icing on the cake with, hey, they broadcast for us, so, we will be using them, and you have to give credit for both Tyson Fury. Really, Tyson deserves some credit. And I'm like, why and how was Tyson deserves any credit? And that's just sheer hot, steamy bullshit from a promoter. I mean, good job for Frank Warren, because look, you see how he turned it around. Like, look, you see, we tried to tell him that we wasn't holding up the fight. It just this is not easy, and and see, to shut that down, first of all, with Simon Jordan and Talk Sports and all that, Frank Warren was quiet as a church house mouse. See, he wasn't like he was and some people say something, he will get in their shit, Seconds Out or IFL TV. He will have something to rebuttal. He had nothing to rebuttal. He had no comeback. He had no counterpunch. He just sit there and kind of let them drill him because he knew he had nowhere to run to. He had nothing to use as a weapon, because everything that they were saying was concrete. Like, yo, is this a bunch of bullshit or not, Frank? What's going on with it? Well, we're trying to get the deal done. That's all he said. That's all he said. I mean, that's all he really basically could say. But now, since the fight is getting made, he's now talking more, because now he has that confidence factor back due to what's happened. But it ain't because of Tyson Fury. You understand? And I love how Frank says, well, if the deal wasn't right, they wouldn't have signed it. They signed the deal. Just like they did with Dillian White this time last year. You signed the deal, and if you read the deal, you signed the deal. That's Frank Warren for you. Okay, that's Frank Warren. Right? So it's like that. There you go. But understand, to counterpunch Frank Warren, why in the hell would you go for then say, oh, you have to give Tyson Fury credit? For what? Tyson Fury sabotaged 2 fights. 1 with Anthony Joshua and 2 with damn near with Alexander Usyk. Damn near. So 1.5. 1 fight. 1 out of 1 ain't good, people. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 1 out of 1 ain't good. Okay? And him saying that, oh, Tyson deserves a lot of credit for what? He almost fucked this whole thing up just like he did last year. He made that bullshit demand. I know Frank should be the happiest guy in the world, but it wasn't because of him. See, if it was up to him, he would have made the Joshua fight. There wouldn't be any Usyk deal. There wouldn't be any deal to sign. It wouldn't have been any 30-70. It would have been a 60-40 if it wasn't for your boy, Frank, Tyson Fury, calling these shots, coming out of his ass, bypassing, disregarding all of the possible negotiation and all the hard work of the people that he paid. So basically, he sabotaged his own wallet for a fight not to happen. So I don't see how in Hades Frank Warren can say, well, you have to give Tyson a lot of credit. I think the opposite. I think you need to give Usyk a lot of credit for taking that fight that Tyson Fury just revealed a couple hours ago that it was a straight low ball. And at no point did he mention low ball. Well, I'm not in the business. I'm not. Hold on a second. Let's see what the rest of Frank, what he has to say.
He was the hot fighter at the time with AJ. They never got it on. Tyson got it on. We got that fight. We got those fights on, and now there's big fights happening. This big unification fight with a fighter who, by the way, has been a brilliant fighter both as an Olympian, as a cruiserweight, and as a heavyweight. He's come up and beaten everybody he's fought up to yet, including one of our national heroes in AJ. So it's all there to be done. 2 guys at their prime. It doesn't happen a lot. I'll go back to...
Okay, so he said everything he's going to say. But he was right about Usyk, though. I mean, he's a good fighter, brilliant fighter, but he's promoting the fight, and he should be promoting the fight because that's what he does. Promotes, that's what he get paid for. Promote. So promote. Promoter. And, but it's just hilarious on Frank Warren, saying that, replying to Simon Jordan that, hey, this is not our fault. See, if it was our fault, it wouldn't be made. No, if it was up to you guys or your fighter, this fight wouldn't happen. It was up to the other guy. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren responding to Simon Jordan over this Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk debacle. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.